like the somber music in the background.
Welcome back to our show. Our show is called, what's our show called? Welcome back to Riding Around with Dr. Carlos.
Why are you first? They came for me.
We were just hanging out with goats. Nigerian goats. What do you think about the goats?
They were cute. I don't want some. Do they just roam like dogs?
Stop sign.
They seem friendly. They always say that goats are like diabolical, just terrible, destructive animals.
Yeah, I can see that in their eyes.
The destination is on the left.
So Lisa, thanks for joining us. On today's episode, we're going to talk about something muy caliente. It's hot.
Yeah.
It's kind of hot right now. It's sweating. So when the summer comes, heat stroke. Fellas, you ever seen a dog with heat stroke?
Yeah, they die.
Sometimes.
Most of the time. Heat stroke is hard to reverse. Gotta act fast and call Dr. Carlos.
So sometimes dogs get heat stroke because you take them out to walk during the hottest part of the day around noontime, and brachiocephalics, fat pugs or fat English bulldogs. So then they're gonna start getting anxious. They're gonna start panting,
Hypoxic.
and then they faint.
Like goats.
Like my truck.
Oh, yeah. You brought her back to life, though.
So if that should happen, what you should do is try to get your dog into like an air-conditioned room. Try to maybe put alcohol on the pads. Take them
Rubbing
to a vet.
alcohol.
Rubbing on, yeah, not drinking alcohol.
Put that in their mouth.
Some wine would be good right now.
Destination is on the left.
Some Cabernet. Okay, so moving on. I think we're losing people by the bushel. We did get 80 views in the last. I think it's mostly because you're in this video, because nobody ever wants to like see my videos. So now we're gonna start a new part of the episode called Shots Fired. So let's give a shout out to somebody. Shout out to Cat's Angels. We were there this weekend, saw over 40 animals, and they were really nice to us. I want to get a shout out to Josh McCombs. Remember him?
Oh, yeah.
What is he up to?
I don't know. I could say some things.
Oh, he's driving our car. Hey guys. I didn't know he was there.
I thought it was just a thief.
Shout out to Anika. Funny story with Anika. There was
Happy New Year!
Yeah, I remember. I'm traumatized
this
from it.
lady accused me of breaking her dog's ribs, and then she started screaming and getting mad.
And you were like, shut up. It was your leg. You know?
I was with Anika, and then she called the police on me. So the lady called the police on me, and the funny thing was, I was rattled because the police were coming and this and that. But it turns out the police officers was these two beautiful women, and it was like the weirdest thing because I was kind of anxious, but at the same time it seemed like a bachelor party. Like, who's the bad boy? Like, so I didn't really understand if it was like a joke. So that happened. So these two beautiful female cops were like, "What happened?" and this and that. I'm like, and I was like, what is going on here? Do you have any funny stories from First Coast?
No, I just like listening to yours.
Because we also worked, you remember that time that they did the emergency and they just filled up every cage in that place?
Yeah, they literally had it overnight and they were like, just medicate every single pet on the hour. And there was like 38 pets in there, and it was literally like injection. Like, I was just like, that is way dramatic. You did not need all that.
So you would say, and I'm leading the question here, you burned out?
Yeah, they burnt me out. And then it's like, oh, well, what could you do differently to not be so burnt out? Not work here?
Not have worked here as well.
We're kind of like First Coast rejects.
Yeah.
Yeah, First Coast, no more. That's
So
it.
did
First Coast, no more techs.
you're like
Yeah.
First Coast, no more.
All the homeless techs.
Like, we're out of here. So did you like ghost them? You just walked out?
Well, they sent me back to Norwood, and I was like, yeah, just add the hours on, add the hours on. And then they weren't paying me as a lead tech, and I brought it to their attention, and they were like, well, that's fine, because you're still working, so it's fine. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I want double hours next time, like, just rack them up, because I need to compensate since you're not giving me that differential. And then they, like, overbooked me, and I just did no call, no shows, and then they were like, well, now we have to find someone to replace you.
I told them I was coming over to veterinary clinic and they didn't match my pay of what I was making in surgery. So the first day I was supposed to start at VC, I took my job at Beltway.
That's right.
Yeah.
Shout out to all the First Coast
They
veterinary reject.
They did people
tax.
dirty though.
Yeah,
All the vet.
the survivals.
Yeah, it was like overwhelming. You're like,
It was.
I'm
And they
done
didn't
with
care about you either. They're like, oh, your liver's failing and you're bleeding out. That sucks. Go get your syringes.
Look, back to work, slave.
Yeah. It's like, jeepers. It was nice whenever Bill Wise worked there. He really cared. But then,
Shout out to Bill. Why?
Bill Wise, the science guy. No, he's not the science guy, but he was really nice. I don't know where he's at now. He stopped
Whoa.
being the general manager over there.
You know, I've been working on a new laugh. What do you think of my new laugh?
Do it?
It's like a vibrating phone.
Almost climatic.
So let's try to talk about my favorite type of client, which is St. John Mothers Group.
Oh, yeah?
So Lisa has been a mother, and tell us about your day being a mother. What are your challenges and
I'm
difficulties?
tired.
So it's like, if you have like 5, is it barrels of laundry? Oh, no.
Baskets.
You got
This
5,
man has never done laundry in his life.
so you have 5 baskets of laundry.
Barrels.
Do you go with the white wine or the red wine?
Turn to make a U-turn at town center.
How many red clothes you got to do a whole load of red?
I just grabbed the closest barrel.
The barrel of wine? I thought it was a barrel of laundry.
Use the left lane to make a U-turn.
But I understand how difficult it must be to be a mother and then have to take your pets to like the vet.
Yeah.
Like you have to like chase down your kids,
Yeah.
get a big dog in the SUV. I'm assuming, because these are suburban mothers. I've never liked minivans. Never. I just feel like
Really?
I am a
They're
quitter
cute.
if I just
They're
bought
very
them.
comfy. You sit high.
Have you ever had a
Stay
minivan?
the same.
No, but we rented some to go on road trips, and every time we're like, we're gonna get one, a Toyota Sienna. Shout out to Toyota.
Well, the Toyota Sienna is a nice minivan.
Yeah, it is.
Man, I'm more like the SUVs. I think.
They're just not that good on gas. The bigger the SUV, the worse.
But I'm gonna
on gas.
give out a shameless plug to the Heel-Mobile.
A shameless plug.
A shameless plug. It's just I'm gonna market the business. Gotta plug it.
Turn left.
I don't know when you sounded like a. I don't know what kind of.
So the benefit of having a mobile vet is we come to your house by invitation, of course.
Yeah.
And we treat your pets. We're in and out. And very convenient. What'd you say?
Yeah. It's just more personable for the dog to be in his home and calm down and relax.
Yeah, they just think like we're just people visiting.
Yeah.
And it's good like when we show up, they give us some food and some
Yeah.
water because they think like we're just like
Yeah, they're like, give it to the dog, but we're like, no, we're hungry too. As long as you do your laugh.
Shout out to Maxine. She's a realtor now.
Go buy a house.
You remember Maxine?
Yeah.
Shout out to Valerie.
Oh yeah, how's her arm?
Valerie Lawson.
I think I
Her arm?
remember.
Her arm?
Oh, she yes. I think she broke a finger.
Oh,
I think it's better. So we're in. Where are we, Josh? Somewhere in
Green
Middleburg.
Cove,
We're in
Middleburg.
Green Cove.
Green Cove.
See, but they just
Entering
called the
Middleburg.
elementary school Middleburg Elementary.
Oh, so we're in Middleburg. In the middle of Middleburg.
That's weird. 'cause
Heart of
right
darkness.
there-
That was
What do you think of all these people from New York and California taking over Florida?
don't New York, my
Send them
Florida.
back, you know?
They're just buying up everything.
I think we
all
should
these
just
foreigners.
build a wall.
Where?
I know who we're gonna get to build it. Whoever we want to get to keep them out, we use them to build it.
Yeah.
And
New
just have them build
Yorkers need to
themselves
go
out.
Look for a job.
They just build themselves out. Finish the wall on your side, and then we'll let you back over.
You have to earn it.
Because Jacksonville, downtown Jacksonville,
We call
There's
it Jack then Kill.
Jackson
Oh, I call it
Kill.
Watsonville.
Yeah.
It's getting gentrified. All these people coming in, buying out Jackson Kill?
Jack then Kill.
Jack then Kill?
Then Kill.
So when's the cutoff to say, yeah, I am from Jacksonville and you could be outraged? Because I came here in 2017. which is-
You can say it
6
because you're
years
not
ago.
from here in general, so you can just claim being anywhere.
Is that the
I've been in the country of Miami my whole life.
Oh,
in the
North
country?
Cuba?
Yeah, it was.
This North Cuba.
It's basically like another state of Cuba.
That's North Side Havana.
Whatever's
'Cause-
home, you know?
It's interesting that they're treating Americans like they're foreigners. Like, oh, I don't want these people coming here to Florida because this is my Florida. I was like, oh, that's what they told me when I was in Miami. But
I stayed.
I just want you to know, my parents told me we were going on vacation, and we ended up arrested in Miami. I just didn't know what was going on. I was a child.
Turn left.
Thought all vacations ended like that.
I was like, why are these people arresting us? What do? We just showed up.
Just say you don't know anything.
But in my defense, I became a lawyer. I married a lawyer just in case things go
Well,
bad.
if you marry her, that makes you one.
Yeah. Because if there's a doctor, it's
I know.
Doctor and Mrs.
Yeah.
And shout out to Toxoplasmosis. Did you know
Oh,
that
yeah.
a lot of the people that into motorcycles and risky behaviors are infected with Toxoplasmosis?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Jesse and I are into motorcycles.
It seems like this disease, you get it from mostly baby kittens through their feces,
Can we see
uncooked
someone or
foods,
something?
gardening too.
Oh,
That's all the things I do.
yeah.
So pregnant women shouldn't be touching
Cat litter?
cat litter
Yeah.
because they could get babies that look like aliens. Not illegal
They're still
aliens,
pretty.
actual aliens from other
Unidentified.
universes.
Think I'm not green.
We can say whatever we want. Nobody watches this anyway.
No, you get viewers. We know your audience, though.
80. I got like 80 views, but it was mostly because of you. Shout out to Tucker.
Tucker! The dog? Or just...
Tucker's this cat that we had to chase down.
Oh.
Well, not me, you. I
Oh,
just
yeah,
sat there.
Yeah. He was good once he was caught.
So Tucker is a cat that doesn't like to be caught, so we have to use the good old cat catcher.
Cat snatcher.
This time we caught him in the kitchen. I've also caught him under a bed, in
What
a
is that
closet.
Shaggy song? It wasn't
It
me.
wasn't me.
But you got me on a
I gotta teach you how to use this properly.
Stop sign.
You know what the best thing to do is?
Whack them
You get them in a corner and they jump up and down like a crazy cat, and then you put it right under them and they land.
Yeah, I feel like my forearms aren't prepared for that. Because if they're heavy, then I just go down and then they jump out anyways.
Yeah, because that happens too. They jump in, you think you got them, and they jump right back out.
Yeah. I like to catch them while they're running towards the side. I just hold it out like a little tripwire and then they just fall.
So now we're headed to Middleburg. We're going to the middle of Middleburg.
What's the next pet?
The next pet, they have Great Danes.
I love Great Danes.
Yeah, Great
Little
Danes are
cow
great.
dogs.
Is this the guy going on?
So you know what happens since we're talking about First Coast?
Huh.
Or we're talking about this clinic that we're not gonna say what the name is. But it starts with First Coast. So I was getting burned down in that place. I was getting burned out, and I was
That's
asking.
muy caliente, huh?
I was burned out. So I was like, I just want to go do surgeries. Like, I just like doing spays and neuters. That's all I want to do. I don't want any sort of excitement. I don't want people screaming and things dying. Spays and neuters. That's all I want.
You should
So
have
then-
just pretended not
so
to
then-
be able to speak English. Then you couldn't talk to
So
them.
right.
Yeah.
It's already no
Just
say.
like- And they would have been like, oh, that's the surgeon. He's stupid.
So then I'm like, look, I'm just gonna leave. I'm gonna go find another job. I just can't do anymore. And then they're like,
Perfect. We
But-
replaced you last week.
they're like, but we were gonna give you a vacation. When I was about to leave,
So you
it's
had to
like I was
stay.
about to leave, but they're like, wait, and they slap you in the face. I was like, but then I thought, maybe I'll just stay to get the vacation,
Do
but you
it.
can't take it back.
So then
And they
you just
never
get a
gave me
week
my
of-
vacation.
A week of paid quit.
They were shiesty.
That's the Mercury moon.
I'm still a little bitter about that vacation I didn't get. But what else should we talk about? Let's talk about mommies again in St.
Yeah.
John's. Have we talked about this already?
St. John
We
Soccer
can always
Moms.
talk
Let's
about
just
it.
keep talking about St. John's mommies. One of my kids, no, both of my kids, go to Liberty Pines Academy.
And what are their
And I-
mommies like?
¿Cuántos
I
madres
actually-
tienes?
I actually have a banner there with my truck. But nobody's ever called me from Liberty Pine Academy.
You want me to drive by one day?
So
Be like,
shout out
"Hey,
to
I'm not
LPA mommies.
for never calling us back.